Good.
100 eyewitness reports. Some of his favourites are in his book. That's his
This
first
is his book?
Yeah, that's the first one. He's got another one in the works.
Yeah, every time we pass it down, we brought the thing. I was looking to see.
But yes, lots of Bigfoot activity throughout Kentucky.
Yeah.
And he's actually, if you were interested in listening to his presentation, he's on stage right now in that building.
Oh yeah.
Where, over there?
Yeah, just in here.
I did.
So,
Like we did.
You got to pay to get in or anything?
I think so.
Well, I'll go check it out. You selling these t-shirts?
We did that one like out here. We did
20?
It was a fence.
But close enough.
Whatever she wants it to be. Then she changes it back. But like, you need to do this. It's hers.
Okay.
You open it up for me. And
Oh, so they can just change it on the fly.
they can change on fly. They can change right here, like, oh, yeah. With it, so they can do it. Yeah. All right, well, good luck.
Okay, all right, thanks a lot. I appreciate your yes.
And the script part. Okay.
And who are you?
I'm Jimmy 63. I love my town.
From where?
So you look at the Nebraska map.
I have crossed the northern part of Nebraska. No, I was just
So they can cancel Valentine, Nebraska? You ever heard of that?
I think I
Don't run away again. Keep moving. All right.
your experience.
Yes.
You got it. His eyes locked on the word. So that was the tribute plaque. That was actually my 3,000 milestone. Yeah, and he lined it up with that.
The rest are coyotes, but these first two were not coyotes. Had a human-like tone. I'll play with it. This is a new laptop for me, so I might be able to play. You hear that? That sounded like a human. I think it was this guy. All right, so Tom Shea up in northern Kentucky, I've got this cast outside. And this one, the largest cast collection, the largest sample is from Kentucky. They're out, you can see some of them out there. These whoops I recorded, so let me I gotta set this up. Just Tom Shea and I at his research area. We got hair, we got cast, there's been sightings. I have a digital recorder with omnidirectional mics. The mics come out, record any direction, they're highly sensitive. I put it away from us in the trees. We're sitting by the little fire, we're cooking bacon. Who doesn't love bacon? Trying to bring the big thing, bacon. We're talking, we hear a little rock, it sounds like a little tree, like, it sounds like a rock. Then the birds sounded an alarm. They heard the birds sound an alarm. You'll hear it. Then these whoops. I challenge you. They're on my website. I challenge you to find any other known animal in Kentucky that makes these vocals. Not those. That's good. I was like, that's good. The best whoops I've ever recorded, ever heard. I've heard it before in expeditions and hot areas, the same thing. That's why last night in the Bigfoot calling contest, they go, who did we pick? I go, pick the first guy, Chris. To me, he made the best whoops of everybody. And that, man, with 5 minutes. So questions, what are your burning questions? You want to hear that one? Okay, I can tell quick. So some Girl Scouts from Ohio contacted me. They wanted to go to Mammoth Cave. They wanted to go to the cave. They wanted to go play putt-putt. They wanted to go horseback riding, and they wanted to look for Bigfoot on the Mammoth Sea. Long story short, I took them out to a place where there was a sighting. It's around a boardwalk. It's low to the ground, so it's safe. With red headlamps, we had like 4 skeptical moms. Anyway, I went out there and I said, do some knocks. They do knocks. It was a close encounter. After it stood up, when it stood up, it swung one arm out and took a step and turned at the waist, which is common. They don't turn their necks, the huge trapezius muscle. They turned the waist, she said, and looked at me in my car and walked away. Again, this lady did not know about this story. She had no idea about Bigfoot standing up without using their arms. I did not know Bigfoot's laying the road. That's the first time I heard that. Why did the Bigfoot lay in the road? I'm guessing it was warm. I don't know why. But so what I did, Don Neal's an ordained minister. He's local. Anybody know Don Neal? Don Bigfoot Neal? He's a local researcher too. He took this report. I said, Don, I've never heard of a Bigfoot laying in the road. Google that. So watch. He Googles it. And he finds these other BFRO, this national database, Oregon, of other Bigfoots laying in the road. This lady, I'm sure, did not know about any of these reports. So howdy is one of the most common stories I share in Kentucky. In the 60s, Mr. Tyndall in Anderson County saw the creature walk out of the tree line in his backyard, and it raised his hand. Howdy, how are you? He didn't say that, man. He raised his hand. Multiple witnesses claimed to have seen Howdy walk out of the woods and raise his arm. 2 teenagers moved from Florida to Kentucky. They didn't know about Bigfoot. They didn't know about Bigfoot in Kentucky. They didn't know about Howdy. They filed a report. The BFRO, Jack Smart took it. They said this creature walked out of the woods and did this. And Jack goes, oh, you saw Howdy. Now, what's interesting about Howdy, he was not the best of shape. He had a little bit of a belly on him. You know why I think he had a belly on him? The Wild Turkey Distillery is right there. The guy's house is literally behind the distillery. So here's what's crazy. I was at a conference in Tennessee. I was talking about Howdy in Tennessee. I got done. A guy runs up to the stage and goes, oh my gosh. In Illinois, Bonnie, Illinois, I was fishing with my dad as a young boy. My dad was fishing. I was riding my little bike. I'd go down the dam and I would spin out. I'd come back. I'd go back and I would spin out. The third time I went down there, this creature stood up behind a bush and he does this. He did the same thing you just described in Kentucky. That's pretty cool, huh? Another behavior in another state that's similar. This was a big one. This gentleman was in his backyard. He had a little garden. An older guy, maybe close to 80, I think he was, retired. He didn't have the internet. He had one of those radios that the dials were round, and you turned the round dial, and you find a radio station. And he was listening to Don Neal, who was on the local radio station, talking about Bigfoot. This gentleman calls in, speaks to me. He goes, I was in my backyard, it's dusk. I look over the fence, and there's this hairy creature standing by the tree line. And I said to it, it's okay, you can come closer, I won't hurt you. And he had his rake, he was pulling his rake, he said it again. It's okay, you can come closer. This is a sweet old man, right? You never know what witnesses are going to do. You never know. And he said the third time, it's okay. Then he realized he had the rake. It's intimidating, maybe it scares him. So he laid the rake down and said, it's okay. He walks over a 3-foot fence, walks up, this is close to 20 feet. This is a sketch of it. Terry Thomas and our group does the sketches. This is what it looked like based on the witness testimony. It was gray, had a wide hooded nose, wide thin lips, heavy brow, big eyes, big black eyes. What's interesting though, guess what he says? He said the bangs look cut. It's just a weird thing to say. He goes, the bangs look like they were cut. I've heard that before too since then. The bangs look cut. So the farmer decides, I better go back in the house. So he turns around, goes back in the house, looks back, the Bigfoot's walking away. He goes inside, he takes 2 potatoes from his garden, opens his back door, puts the potatoes on the railing to his deck, and before he goes to bed, he looked out the back door, the potatoes were gone. Yeah, another animal could have taken the potatoes. But we like to think there's a nice relationship with Bigfoot and where we live, and there's these habituation stories and gifting stories. I get them all the time. It's called gifting. You leave something, they put something back. I got one with the guy would put corn out, corn's gone, there's an arrowhead where the corn was. I can go on and on and on about these gifting type stories where people, we live right by the Bigfoot. You know what it takes to have a Bigfoot sighting? Guess what it takes to have a Bigfoot sighting? 2 things. A Bigfoot and a person. Kentucky, we're in the top 3 in the country in sightings. If you take my data from my database in the BFRO, we blow away every other state, even Ohio, Illinois. We're right behind Washington State with sightings because we live next to the Bigfoots. Kentucky is unique like that. We live right up against them, and they look in windows. They come close to us often. But again, this Bigfoot could have killed that man, right, from 1 or 2. It did not. It walked away. We're just curious. I'm going to come back to this if we have time, because we don't have a lot of time. This is a fun story.
The natives knew about it. The natives knew about it. There's no claw marks or bite marks. But people like their limbs ripped off.
They ripped them off.
Yeah,
That was a tool.
yeah, they left all that money to make money there. But I think they're smart enough to know here, leave us alone. They gotta live side by side with us. They got blood from a plate. They put those pieces of broken glass with maple syrup on it. Because the lady there, the older lady, was feeding them food and pancakes with maple syrup is what they liked. And they got video and all this stuff. It's a long story. Matilda, it's a whole long story. They brought in researchers. Adrian Erickson came down, bought the farm, moved old people out. Now I can go on and on about the story. There you go. They even got pictures of video.